All right, so today we're going to really dive deep into David Goggins and his book, Can't Hurt Me.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's all about, like breaking through those mental barriers that we all kind of put on ourselves.
Pushing past your limits, right?
Exactly. And Goggins, well, his life story is just insane.
It really is. I mean, the guy went from, being overweight and working as a janitor to a Navy SEAL and an ultramarathon runner.
Yeah, like if that's not proof that his ideas work, I don't know what is.
Right. It's incredible.
So what we really want to do today is like pull out those nuggets, those like actionable things that we can all use.
Yeah, like how do we take what Goggins did and apply it to our own lives?
Exactly, that's
Yeah.
the goal. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So one of the big things that Goggins talks about is this idea of the 40% rule.
Yeah, this is a huge one.
So can you kind of break that down for us? Like what does that even mean?
So basically, the 40% rule is this idea that when you feel like you're totally spent,
Yeah.
like you can't go any further.
Like you're hitting that wall.
Yeah, you're hitting that wall, you're exhausted. But in reality, you've probably only used about 40% of your actual capacity.
Whoa, really? Only 40%?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Our minds, they kind of trick us, you know?
They're like protect us from ourselves.
Exactly. They want to keep us safe and comfortable, so they start telling us to stop way before we actually need to.
So that feeling of I can't do this anymore, it's kind of like a lie.
Well, yeah, in a way, it's more like a warning sign than like an actual hard stop.
Okay, so how do we actually use this 40% rule in everyday life?
So the next time you're working on something, and you feel that urge to quit, just pause for a second and ask yourself, am I really at my limit or am I just at 40%?
Oh, that's good. So it's like a mental check-in.
Exactly. It's a way to kind of reframe your thinking and push yourself a little further.
I like that. Okay, so another big concept from Goggins is callous your mind, which sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, it does, right? But it
Oh,
makes
yeah.
sense when you think about it.
So what's that all about?
So it's kind of like building calluses on your hands, when you do a lot of manual labor.
Right. The more you work, the tougher your hands get.
Exactly. Your skin becomes thicker, more resistant to pain.
Okay, I'm seeing the connection here.
Yeah, so Goggins is saying that our minds are the same way. The more we expose them to discomfort, the tougher they get.
So we need to like intentionally seek out discomfort.
In a way, yeah, it's about stepping outside of your comfort zone and embracing challenges.
But like how do we actually do that?
One simple thing is to do one uncomfortable thing every day. Something small but challenging.
Give me an example.
Sure, could be taking a cold shower first thing in the morning.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Uh-huh. Or maybe it's having that tough conversation you've been putting off, or even just waking up an hour earlier.
Okay, I see what you mean, small but consistent challenges.
Right. The point is to get used to being uncomfortable, to build that mental resilience.
That makes sense. All right, let's move on to another one, the accountability mirror.
Ah, yes. This one is all about self-reflection.
Yeah, it sounds like some deep inner work.
It is. It's
Yeah.
about being brutally honest with yourself about your weaknesses.
So no sugarcoating, no making excuses.
Nope, Goggins is all about taking radical responsibility for where you are in life.
I like that. And he literally used a mirror for this.
Yeah.
He would stand in front of a mirror and write down all of his flaws, his shortcomings.
Whoa, that's intense.
It is, but it's also incredibly powerful because you can't hide from the truth when it's staring you in the face.
So how can our listeners apply this accountability mirror concept?
Take some time to really sit down and assess yourself. Honestly, write down your weaknesses, what's holding you back, and most importantly, focus on what you can control.
Okay, so identify the areas you need to work on.
Exactly. And then create a plan to address them.
Got it. So next up we have taking souls, which sounds a little aggressive, maybe even a little dark.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's definitely a powerful image.
So what's the meaning behind it?
Well, it's about using the doubt and negativity of others as fuel to motivate you.
So when people tell you you can't do something, you use that to prove them wrong.
Exactly. You take their doubt, their negativity, and you turn it into energy to achieve your goals. So it's like a watch me mentality.
Yes, exactly. Prove them wrong, show them what you're capable of.
I love that. Okay, and finally, let's talk about never be satisfied.
This one is crucial for continuous growth.
It's about not getting complacent, right?
Exactly. Goggins is all about constantly pushing yourself, setting new goals, raising the bar.
So as soon as you achieve one goal, you set another one.
Yep. You never let yourself get too comfortable. You always strive for more.
Wow, so Goggins' whole philosophy really boils down to the power of the mind, doesn't it?
Absolutely. He's living proof that we're capable of so much more than we think we are.
And that pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever.
That's a powerful quote.
So to wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with this question. What's your 40% barrier right now?
Yeah, what's that thing you think you can't do, but maybe you're just not pushing hard enough?
And what's one small, uncomfortable step you can take today to start callousing your mind?
It could be anything. Remember, just one small thing to challenge yourself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into David Goggins and Can't Hurt Me.
It's been a pleasure.
And remember, you have the power to achieve anything you set your mind to.
Absolutely anything.
Thanks for listening.